Good morning, students. Welcome back to Mahadeva International School. So, in the last class, we were studying about the measurement of area, volume, and density. So, let us continue with the second topic. So, the second topic is measuring area of irregular surface. That is, we are going to measure the area of the irregular in the sense, so you can see here the shape of this object is completely different. That is, this is called as irregular shape. So like, this is not in the form of a circle, this is not in the form of a square or a parallelogram or a triangle. So the shape is entirely different. So such type of shapes are called as irregular shapes. So here, to calculate the area of irregular shapes, we can measure it by two methods. The first method is called as graphical method, and second method is called as the grid method. So now let us see how to measure the area of an irregular surface. So here, let us do an activity. So the area of an irregular shape can be measured using graphical method or grid method. So let us take a graph sheet. Let us assume that this is completely a graph sheet what is given here. So first we have to take a graph sheet. So each box in the graph sheet will measure 1 centimeter. So as you can see here, that this complete box will measure 1 centimeter. Now place the irregular shape whose area is to be measured. So whatever the instrument or whatever the thing you want to measure which is in an irregular shape, so place that irregular shape on this sheet. So as you can see that here in the saffron color, so let us assume that this is an irregular shape. So just keep this on a graph sheet and plot a outline of the same shape on the graph. So after drawing the outline of the given object which you have placed, next remove that object and keep aside. So after that you can see that this will be the outline of the given object, so or the irregular shape of the given surface. Next what we have to do is, so here as you can see that when you draw the complete graph of the irregular surface, so it has come like this. Now identify how many complete full boxes are there, that is the square boxes. So we have just made a tick over here. So this tick indicates that that is a complete square. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can see that complete square boxes which is completely filled are only 4. So that is what we have ticked here. So other all other boxes are half filled or quarterly filled, or it is like completely empty. So which is more than half filled, we have identified it as the dots. So you can see the dots here. Now completely half or more than half has been marked as a completely dot. Now to such type of irregular surface, how to calculate the area? So here see, it has been given. So find the area of the shaped region or shaded region in the figure alongside. So let us see the figure once again. So as I told you that complete boxes are only 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I have written here number of complete squares, that is ticked marked, are 4. Next is number of incomplete squares, that is the dots which is not completely shaded, which is half shaded or more than half shaded. So such types of things are such type of shaded regions I have taken it as dots. Let us count it once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So dots are 10. Now total number of squares is equal to 10 plus 4, that is equal to 14. So here 10 plus 4 is equal to 14. So approximately the area of the complete irregular surface is 14 centimeters square. So we have named it as approximate, not exactly. It is approximate. So we call it as the approximate area, that is equal to 14 square, 14 centimeters square. So this is how you need to calculate the area of irregular surface by graphical method. So this is only for irregular shapes, not for the regular shapes like square, parallelogram, or some other things like a triangle. So this is only for irregular shapes. So this is the first method of finding the area of irregular shape using graphical method. Now let us study about measuring cylinder. In the laboratory, we can find these measuring cylinders. So in the last class also, we have seen a picture of measuring cylinders. So in the laboratory, we can find these cylinders. So what is the use of these cylinders? The main purpose of these cylinders is to measure the liquids, that is whatever the type of liquids are there. So to get an accurate reading, accurate means the exact reading without any errors, we are going to make use of this measuring cylinders. So we can also name it as graduated cylinders, that is it is marked. See, in the second picture you can see that here it is completely marked, so you can measure it accurately. Now while using these cylinders, what is the precautions to be taken while measuring? So that is we will be studying about one by one, that is by point wise. So measuring cylinder should be kept on a horizontal and even surface, that is it should be kept on a clean and clear, that is horizontal table, so that I can get a accurate reading. If it is like slant, or if it is like not in a proper way or not in a horizontal way, we may get the wrong readings. So that is why what we have to do is we have to keep this measuring cylinder on a horizontal table. Next, always read a graduated cylinder at eye level. That is, it should be, see, you can see here in the picture. So this is the eye. It is like I cannot see from the top of this. I cannot see from the other sides. Exactly my eye should be near the value wherever it is. Okay, wherever the volume of the liquid is at the same place, your eye should be there. Next point. Liquids acquire a curved surface in a cylinder called the meniscus. Some liquids like alcohol and water form a concave surface. Liquids like mercury forms a convex surface. This phenomena is due to the adhesive property of liquid and glass surface. So here, see here, it is taken it as, let me take in the case of water. So when we take the water, so in this case, this will form the, it is just like a convex mirror. Okay, so it will be like a convex mirror, so you can see the readings here. And in the case of mercury, it will be in the form of convex mirrors. So water will be in concave and mercury will be in convex surface. So for concave liquid surfaces, read the volume at bottom of the meniscus. See here in the case of water, what we have to do is, since it is for the concave, so we should read the reading which is completely below. Okay, and when we are talking about a mercury, so that is in the form of convex mirror, then you have to measure the upper value. So this is how we have to measure the given liquids using the measuring cylinder. So these are few of the precautions which has to be taken while using the cylinders in the laboratory. Next, measuring volume of irregular solids using displacement method. Solids which do not have a regular shape, solids means which are very hard. So when such type of solids are not in a regular shape, So we can find the volume of the solids with the help of a measuring cylinder, that is the volume. Okay, so regular shapes are irregular solids. We can find the volume of these solids with the help of a measuring cylinder. The method is based on the principle that when a solid object is dipped in a liquid, the level of the liquid rises. The volume of the liquid displaced is equal to the volume of the object immersed in the liquid. Like for example, if you are having a cylinder, that is a measuring cylinder, and if you pour a water inside the cylinder, and when you drop some solid object into it, so what happens is the level of the water will get raised. So after that you can measure. So you can see in this object, so before dropping the solid or a stone, so the level of the water was only till 20. So when you dropped some stone inside this, so the level of the water was raised from 20 to 40. So there is 20 centimeter rise in the water level. So this is how we can calculate with the help of a displacement method. So volume of solids heavier than liquids. So volume of solids which sink in a liquid can be measured using the displacement method. Pour some water into a clean measuring cylinder. So whatever we have explained now. So this is how we are going to measure the volume of the solids heavier than the liquids. That is, the stone is heavier than the water. So in the same way, volume of an object lighter than the liquid which will float. So like for example, if I have a plastic cork or something, and if I just exert it into a cylinder, so it will not just go deep inside the water. Okay, it will just like it keeps on floating. Instead of going down, that is instead of sinking, it will just start flowing up. So here what we understand by this is, that is the object which is been put inside this cylinder is not heavier than the liquid. So in this case, volume of the object can be found with the help of a sinker. Pour some water in a measuring cylinder and lower the sinker. Anybody which sinks, anything which sinks in the sense, just you can make use of the uh, small wood block. Even the wood block will sink in the water. So such type of objects you can use, and you can find out the levels. So these are few of the displacement method, sorry, not only displacement method, the methods in which you can find out the volume of the given objects. So in the first case it should be the irregular solids. Second case, that is the volume of the solid is heavier than the liquid, that is whatever the thing you are using here to drop inside this cylinder, it should be heavier than the water. And in the third case, the object should be lighter than the liquid, that is the weight of the object should be very very less than that of the liquid what you are using. So these are some of the important ways how you are going to measure the volume of the solids which are heavier, which are lighter, which are irregular. So in the next class we shall discuss about this in a clear way. So as of now, you people can note down few of the important things from this, and if at all if you have a doubt, so you people can ask me once again. Thank you so much. Waiting for the next class. Bye.